I never thought betrayal would come from the two people I trusted the most. But that night, everything I believed about love and friendship shattered in a way I'll never forget. It all started on a Friday evening. The kind of evening that feels normal, almost boring, until one small detail changes everything. I had just come home from work, exhausted but excited, because my girlfriend, Emily, had promised we'd have a quiet night together. She knew how hard my week had been, and the thought of sitting with her maybe watching a movie felt like the perfect way to end the chaos. But when I walked in, the house felt strangely empty. There was music playing upstairs, faint but noticeable. I called her name, but she didn't answer. I remember thinking maybe she was in the shower, or just didn't hear me. Still, something inside me felt off. I dropped my keys on the counter and started up the stairs. That's when I noticed it, 2 glasses of wine on the table in the living room. Not 1. 2. And the thing is, I don't even like wine. Emily knew that. My chest tightened, but I forced myself to stay calm. Maybe she had a friend over. Maybe I was just overthinking. Then I heard a laugh. A man's laugh. Deep. Familiar. My stomach turned because I knew that laugh. I'd heard it 1,000 times at parties, on late-night drives, in moments when I needed advice. It was my best friend, Mark. For a second, my brain refused to connect the pieces. Emily and Mark. Upstairs. Together. I froze halfway up the stairs, gripping the railing so hard my knuckles turned white. My first thought wasn't even anger. It was confusion. Why would they be here together without telling me? Why didn't either of them mention it? I slowly walked back down, heart pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. I needed to catch my breath to think. I paced the living room, staring at the wine glasses like they were proof of a crime. Then, before I could stop myself, I grabbed one of the glasses. The lipstick mark wasn't Emily's usual shade. It was darker, bolder. I'd never seen her wear that color before. My mind spun faster than I could control. I thought about all the small signs I had ignored. The late-night texts she'd brushed off as work stuff, the way Mark avoided eye contact with me during our last hangout, the sudden distance I felt from both of them but never questioned. And now, they were upstairs. Together. I couldn't breathe. My chest felt like it was collapsing. I should have stormed up, kicked the door open, demanded answers. But I didn't. Instead, I stood there frozen, too afraid of the truth I was about to uncover. I took a deep breath, grabbed my phone, and texted Emily. "Hey, where are you?" A second later, I heard a vibration upstairs. The sound of a phone buzzing against a wooden nightstand. She didn't reply. Neither did he. At that moment, I knew something was horribly wrong. And then, I heard it, the creak of footsteps above me, slow and careful, like they knew I was home. The weight of what I had discovered on Emily's laptop pressed on me all morning. My chest felt tight, my mind replaying every message, every secret smile, every lie. I couldn't keep pretending like nothing had happened. I needed answers. But instead of confronting Emily first, I decided to start with Mark. If anyone owed me the truth, it was him. I called him around noon, my voice steady though my hands trembled. "Hey man, you free tonight? Thought maybe we could grab a drink, just the two of us. It's been a while." A pause. Then, "Yeah, sure. Sounds good." We met at our usual bar, dimly lit, familiar. He greeted me with a smile, but I could see the tension behind it. He knew I suspected something. We talked about work, sports, random things at first. But the silence between topics was loud, heavy. His hands fidgeted with his glass, avoiding my gaze. Finally, I leaned in. "Mark, I need to ask you something." His eyes widened slightly. "What's up? Were you at my place the other night?" He froze, then quickly looked away. "What?" "No, why would I? Don't lie to me," I interrupted. I know about you and Emily. Silence. The background noises of the bar faded. For a moment, he just stared at the table, jaw clenched. Then he sighed. I didn't want you to find out like this. My stomach dropped. No denial. Just admission. How long? I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. A few months, he admitted. A few months? My voice shook. You've been sneaking around with my girlfriend for months and pretending to be my friend? He hesitated. Listen, it's not like that. We didn't plan this. But we fell for each other. My chest felt like it was caving in. My best friend. My girlfriend. Fell for each other. I slammed my hand on the table, making him flinch. You could have had anyone. But you had to choose her. The one person I trusted most. The one I loved. He looked down, shame written on his face. No excuses, no lies. I stood abruptly, chair screeching across the floor. My heart was racing, fury burning through me. The cold air outside hit me as I stepped out, but it didn't cool the fire inside. That night, I realized something. This wasn't just betrayal. This was war. I didn't know yet what I would do next, but one thing was clear. I would never let this pass unnoticed. The next morning, I woke up with a weight on my chest. I barely slept, my mind replaying the night over and over. 2 glasses of wine, the laugh I knew too well, Mark sneaking out of my house like a criminal. Emily was already in the kitchen making coffee when I came down. She smiled faintly, but I noticed how quickly she looked back at her phone. Morning, she said, her voice too casual, too controlled. Morning, I muttered, studying her every move. I wanted to ask right away, to throw it all in her face. But instead, I sat at the table and let her hand me a cup of coffee. My hands were shaking as I held it. After a long silence, I asked, Was anyone here last night? Her eyes flicked up for half a second before she forced a laugh. No, why? Did you think you heard something? I sipped my coffee slowly, fighting the anger boiling inside me. Yeah. Thought I heard voices. Probably the TV, she said quickly, tucking her hair behind her ear. The way she said it told me everything. She was lying. The rest of the day dragged on. Emily guarded her phone constantly, stepping outside for calls, or tilting the screen away from me. I noticed things I'd ignored before. Late replies when we were together, her nervousness whenever Mark's name came up, the distance that had crept into our relationship like poison. That evening, when she went out to grab groceries, I stayed behind. The second the door closed, I grabbed her laptop. My hand shook as I opened it, my heart pounding so hard I could barely breathe. Most of it looked normal. Emails, online shopping, social media. But then, I saw a message thread that froze me in place. Her and Mark. I clicked it. Hundreds of messages. Late-night conversations stretching until 3 a.m. jokes only they shared. Pictures I'd never seen before. Selfies, silly faces, little moments meant for each other. One message made my blood run cold. Emily, I wish we didn't have to hide. Mark, soon. I promise. I sat back, my head spinning, my throat dry. They weren't just flirting. They weren't just crossing boundaries. They were planning something. A future. Without me. I scrolled further, my stomach churning with every line. Talk of how they couldn't stop thinking about each other. Of how it was wrong but felt so right. When Emily finally came home, carrying bags of groceries, she looked at me with that same fake smile. I closed the laptop and forced a smile back, hiding the storm inside me. That night, as she lay next to me in bed, scrolling through her phone, I stared at the ceiling. My chest ached, but my mind was made up. I couldn't keep pretending. I now knew the truth. The only question left was how to confront it, and whether I had the strength to hear what she would say. The footsteps above me stopped as suddenly as they began, leaving the house in silence. My heart pounded so hard it felt like the whole neighborhood could hear it. I tried to calm myself. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe there was a simple explanation. But deep down, I knew there wasn't. People don't hide in silence if nothing's wrong. I sat on the couch, gripping my phone, unsure what to do. Part of me wanted to storm upstairs, but fear held me back. What if I was right? What if I saw something I could never unsee? So instead, I slipped quietly out the front door and sat in my car across the street, staring at my own house. 10 minutes passed. Then 15. My hands were sweating on the steering wheel. Finally, the lights upstairs flicked off. My chest tightened. Moments later, the front door opened and Mark walked out. He looked around nervously, pulling up his hood. He didn't see me. My best friend sneaking out of my house like a thief. The sight punched the air out of me. Not long after, Emily stepped outside. She wasn't dressed up, just a hoodie and sweatpants, but her face was pale. She checked her phone, sighed, and went back inside, locking the door. That was it. I didn't need anyone to explain. Something was happening between them. I didn't know how far it had gone, but it was real. I stayed in the car until nearly midnight, my mind spinning. I wanted to run back to scream, but I couldn't. Fear of hearing the truth kept me frozen. My phone buzzed as I finally drove off. A message from Emily. "Hey, where are you? I thought you'd be home by now." I stared at the screen in disbelief. She was pretending nothing happened. I typed back. "Got caught up with work. I'll be late." It was a lie. But at that moment, lying felt easier than facing her eyes, knowing what I knew. I walked home that night, heart pounding, chest tight. Everything I thought I knew about loyalty, love, and trust had crumbled in a single evening. I replayed every message, every lie, every secret smile. When I stepped inside, Emily was waiting on the couch. She looked up from her phone, smiling faintly, but her eyes betrayed her. "You've been crying," she said softly. "What happened?" I laughed bitterly. "What happened? You tell me." "I talked to Mark tonight." Her smile faltered. What did he say?" "The truth," I said. "I know about you and him, about the months you've been hiding it from me, about the lies you told every day." She swallowed hard. I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you. Never meant to hurt me," I shouted. "You looked me in the eye every day and told me you loved me while sneaking behind my back." Tears welled in her eyes, but I felt nothing. She wasn't even denying it anymore. She was choosing him. "I still care about you," she whispered. "Care about me?" I shook my head bitterly. People don't do what you've done to the ones they care about. For a moment, silence. Then she said quietly, "Maybe you're right, but I can't change how I feel." Her words struck me harder than any lie. She was gone, emotionally, even if she was still here physically. I realized my choice. I grabbed my jacket. "You and Mark deserve each other. I hope one day you realize what you've lost and it eats you alive." I left without another word. The cold night air hit me, but it didn't touch the fire in my chest. Pain was there, but beneath it was clarity, freedom. I didn't know what tomorrow would bring. Loneliness? Anger? Months of picking up the pieces? Maybe, but I knew one thing. Betrayal would not define me. And as I walked into the dark streets, leaving the ruins of what I thought was love behind, I finally understood. Sometimes the hardest goodbyes are the ones that save you.